There he is.
What's up?
Oh my God, this is so cool.
Wild.
I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled.
I know, me too. I can't believe it, honestly.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Change for the Better, the Power of Arts in Education, episode 47.
Change for the better, and the music made me stronger. No, I'm changed for the better. You were there for me. Community, no, I've changed.
Let me start by saying that all of my guests are special. Every single one of them, from 1 to 47 and beyond. But today, I am particularly thrilled to speak to this young man, the reason for which I will get to momentarily. Going back, I remember this person as someone who liked to sort of dip his toes in the thespian waters, so to speak, but he always stayed really far away from the spotlight. He helped out with a whole bunch of productions in many, many ways, constructing and painting sets and ushering. And he did eventually find himself backstage for running crew for his senior musical fame. And his friends were my guests, Stephanie Laurident from episode 5, Kristen Santos Latrenta from episode 7, and Alexander Dominy from episode 20, who was a year or two younger. And he loved being in the wings, working as that silent ninja and capturing some really amazing moments behind the camera, which I'm going to put some of those pictures in the blog because they're just fantastic. So after high school graduation, he took advantage of Rockland Community College's graphic design program. Then he transferred down south to Savannah College of Art and Design, where he graduated magna cum laude with a BFA in graphic design. Now, upon his return to New York, he landed a junior designer job at OffWhite Design, where he has spent the last 8 years. Now he's a design director, and he continues doing that work that he loves so dearly, including doing side design projects for those in need. That's where I come in. So, I don't know, a couple months ago, I decided that for season 4, I was going to do a little upgrade for this podcast. It was time. So I wanted a new theme song, which was composed and performed by my episode 8 guest, Brianna Knight. And that was like the foundation for the change. That sound that you heard at the beginning of this podcast, that's what drove everything. The new graphic design came from the man that you see in front of me or next to me. I don't know where it is. I had reached out to my social media universe, and his sister Christina, who I'm Facebook friends with, and she was also one of my dance students, had reached out to him because he's not on Facebook. And she let him know that I was looking for a designer. So then he reached out to me, sent me an email to see if I was interested in looking at some of his ideas, which of course, yes, I was. He literally sent me dozens of design ideas to choose from. And his work absolutely blew me away. I saw the work that he sent me and I was like, are you kidding me?
Gosh.
So, long story short, his work is now the face of Changed for the Better. Now, full disclosure, my guest is a bit camera shy,
What?
but but I somehow managed to convince him to sit and chat with me for a few minutes. So I want to thank you for taking the time to sit and tell me your story.
Oh my gosh, that intro. That was too much. That was
Oh, least I could do. Least I could do.
it's an honor to be here, honestly. It was
Oh,
that was
thank you. So this is how this works. I have 10 questions and you've seen them, so no big surprises. And this is just a little reflection back to the time that we spent together. Some kids are in it for the long haul, 4 years. Some kind of people kind of like pick in and out. Everybody's experience is different. And so I want to know from you what you got out of your thespian experience and how that has translated into any part of your adulthood. We're going to start real simple. First, what is your name, the year that you graduated from Spring Valley, and tell me a little bit more about what you do now.
Thank you. My name is Michael Delpup. I graduated in 2009. Right now, I am a design director at a small design studio in New York City, or at least it was based in New York City now. Now we're fully remote, so there's no real location. Yeah, because of COVID. So it is what it is. But there's perks to being remote versus not, and then there's cons as well. Yeah, so I basically lead a small team of designers and work with a bunch of people and different clients in the CPG category, which is consumer product goods. So a lot of packaged designs, from milk to headphones to peanut butter to you name it. I've probably worked on it at some point for somebody. I go on photo shoots to art direct and help the client if they need it in certain ways, and marketing, everything. So kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. But
now I know that you also have your sort of like secret Instagram thing that you do photography yourself, right?
Yes, yeah. That was like a hobby. I've always liked photography, as you saw. I guess I was taking photos when I was supposed to be working crew. Sorry about that, but the memories, that was great. I forgot all about that album. Yeah, I picked up a camera, I guess, a couple years ago, and it's different than working on a computer all day because I'm stuck just like this. It's like, it's not as like I'm outgoing, and every time I go to a new city, I bring my camera. So at some point, my secret Instagram of photography will have photos from all the places I've been, but not quite yet.
Eventually
it will be flooded with photos.
That's okay. You heard about it here first.
Yes. Thanks for spilling my secret. I appreciate it. But yeah, so and I love doing it, so that's why. Yeah.
Well, and I got the benefit of that love, so I have great appreciation for that. And in fact, okay, I'm going to try and do this. So I'm going to say the logo is going to be right there. Or maybe it'll be right there. Don't know which one.
Oh my God.
We're going to go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun working on it. It was more just like I really wanted to help out. I saw that you had reached out, and then my sister told me, and there was no pressure because you didn't know I was working on it. And then when I finally emailed you, I was just like, hey, if you want, like, I could. Then I started sketching and whatever.
Again, full disclosure, I was in talks and working with a designer that I gotten like the name through a friend. We were already, working on something, and it was like the back and forth. I liked it, but it wasn't like grabbing me. And then when you sent me the first batch, he sent me this PDF. It was like
it's
a slideshow.
It was that's not how you normally present logos to a client, but it was a different situation. But
yeah, and it was literally like, so on this page it was like this design idea and these fonts, and then on the next page was a completely different idea with banners and logos and fonts and all and colors, and then there was like 3 more pages of it, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I showed my husband, I was like, dude, look at what Michael just sent me.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas kept coming, and then it was just after listening to all 40 at the time, or 30, whatever at the time, it was like everybody was saying so many similar things, and it was like, oh man, the concepts were just like, we could go this direction, or if you feel like this or this way. It was.
Yeah. And I appreciated that because I kind of was feeling like, okay, I could go with this other thing. It's fine, but your ideas just completely sparked other thoughts in my head and other inspiration. I was like, oh, okay, so this can look in a different way, and I can really love it. So yes, thank you.
Yes, of course. Of course.
And he's really great. If you're ever looking for a designer, I mean, I
Oh
know
my
that
gosh.
you got your full-time job and everything, but he's really amazing to work with, and he's got a lot of great ideas. And he's quick, gets an idea and synthesizes it and like puts it out. And so you could certainly go to his design company, and that's all linked in the blog and everything. But
Yeah. Or just message me. Like that works too.
right, okay, we'll put that in there too.
Just whatever. Yeah, that works. Whatever.
He just loves doing this stuff.
I love it every day, all day.
That's great. So let's kind of detour back, thinking about your high school years and your high school self. I want you to use your adult brain to describe your adolescent self.
Oh man, where to begin? I know I was super quiet back then. It was pretty obvious for a lot of reasons, but and that's partly why I joined crew versus actually being on stage and stuff like that. I know, regrets. There are regrets in life, but it is what it is. I still had so much fun being a part of crew, and I got to do some crafts and stuff like that, which was great because I got to work with my hands. And that fame sign that's right, I guess, where the sound booth is in the back of I painted that, which is crazy. And I know, I saw it the other day when I came to see The Wiz. So
You were there?
yeah, I showed up. I didn't want to bother you. You were busy. I don't want, I just, like I said, I'm a little quiet. Okay. I was just there to spectate and, enjoy the show, but I was definitely quiet. I was definitely going through a lot of like internal problems and mental health issues for sure, especially coming into Spring Valley High School. It was like, obviously it was a different world from where I came from because everybody else knew each other. And then I came in with Gabe Felix, and we came in from a Catholic school. So I didn't know anybody other than my sister was there as well, and my brother. But that was it. So it was, I stepped into this whole new world, and it was definitely a different culture that was, surrounding the school. So I wasn't used to it. But on top of that, I felt like coming from 8th grade where I was like bullied super heavily, like it was so bad. And then coming into 9th grade where it was also a little bit of bullying, but it wasn't as bad, just the, normal, amount. I don't know.
Right. The normal
but
stupid high school stuff.
Exactly. Normal. Yeah. Tension between kids, trying to deal with that. And then feel like I was being bullied at home. It was just, I felt like I had no safe space. So it was very difficult. And that's, I'm not going to get emotional. And that's why I felt like I had to like hop around between like groups of people until like I kind of found like a solid group, which were a lot of thespians and like some of my other friends. Michael had a difficult time navigating his adolescent self for sure.
It's funny, you talk about getting emotional. That happens.
I know. I just watched Karima's and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. And it's, not necessarily by design. It's just happy accident, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard for a lot of people to look back on their high school experience because a lot of people would rather forget a lot of their high school experience.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny. Like I was just looking through the yearbook. I know that's so strange and so random, but like my parents are moving from Georgia. So like they give me all my boxes of crap that I had. And this was literally on the top of all my books. And just like seeing some of these pictures and like going through some of this stuff, like look at, oh my God, we were all so young, but like just like
babies.
Just like seeing these faces and then reading like these comments that like people wrote, it's like, oh my God, maybe I had more friends than I thought I did in retrospect.
That is a truth. The way we look at ourselves is very different than the way other people look at us. And how we look at ourselves is all based on, from the time that we're born and all of our personal experience. And a lot of times it's the not great stuff. And that's what we focus on inside. But how we present to everybody else and how that's perceived is so very different. It's nice that you had that feedback, whether it's through the yearbook entry or through people being kind to you. Everybody saw you in a very different light, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely, self-critical. As an artist in general, like self-critical of everything I do, even the new logo, I'm like, oh, I would change this. And I'm like, already. And I think that just like comes hand in hand. It was hard, I don't know, accepting who I was or trying to figure out who I was at such a young age. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. And being shy didn't help either. So
being shy is all part and parcel of that experience. You get shy because you feel like you can't put yourself out there because you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was something that happened, we'll call it in the theater, because I never enjoyed having you as a dance student. I had your sister for years, and that was amazing, but I never had you in the studio. So we'll put this question as the theater, right? So what happened in Thespians in the theater that helped you to manage or to regulate your adolescent self?
Obviously, I feel like we didn't spend a lot of time together, which was like obviously a shame. But I just remember it was a safe space for me because I got to, I guess, express myself through art and creating the sets, which I kind of touched on before. But just having friends around, like a community that we all got together and more or less joked around all the time and took things seriously, but like joked around a lot to create something amazing. That was definitely so helpful because I remember coming out of my shell in Thespians. I remember sitting in I think we did like a circle where everybody was sitting in a circle and we all talked about our experiences or something. I can't remember exactly.
That was senior powwow.
I remember that. I remember that. That's like what I remember. And I just remember talking and actually like not being too nervous, but talking about everything and like being confident in like a lot of things. It was just weird for me at the time, but like, I don't know, that was so special. Like I still remember it.
Yeah, the things that we touch on that are like the real emotional things, but like the positive emotional things. I think that's what people hold on to. I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously I don't remember too many bad things. Like if there were any ever in Thespians, it was just like I just remember smiling most of the time. So that was good.
Yeah. So what are some lessons? Can you remember any lessons that you learned there that you think about or you use today?
Other than it's okay to express yourself, I think that was like the biggest lesson learned. I do that with design now. Like as you saw with all the concepts, I got to put myself into some of those designs and use different colors and whatever to express the concept, but also through myself. It was a way to just create something for you, for something that I was a part of, or at least a little bit a part of. And I definitely took that from Thespians. I was so shy that like there was no way I could have done that without Thespians. And then after being a part of Thespians and seeing everybody else do their own thing and be great at it, like Kristen and everybody and Steph, like it was unbelievable to see them on stage and all my other friends, even seeing other people succeed is such a valuable like drive for myself to want to do that.
That was a really cohesive group. And that show in particular was one of the pinnacles. Like I've been doing this for a really long time. And like you have like these sort of peaks and valleys as far as my own personal experience, my creative experience, my teaching experience, connecting with groups of kids. And that was like a real highlight. And as a choreographer as well, because I had so many incredibly trained dancers that I just don't always have. Kristen and Jenna Ford and Lindsay Strasser and James, like all these people just converged in this one year. And I went, oh, I got to do something with this. And so that was a great experience for me as well, that 2009 Fame show that really taught me a lot about what I was able to do. Because when you're teaching dance in a high school setting, or you're doing theater in a high school setting, you're limited sort of by what's around you and you try and push as much as you can. So those lessons that you learned, in those couple of years, I have been learning over the course of an entire career. It goes both ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to teach and deal with all of that every year all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot of change. It's a lot of different.
For the better, But speaking of fame,
I have that shirt. I should have brought that shirt down.
I was gonna wear it, but I was like, I don't know, purple's not my color. But
it is. Totally is.
Yeah, I remember drawing this for you, and I was so intimidated. I was so like nervous and scared. I would change everything about it, but
I wouldn't change a thing.
No. I remember drawing this. You kept asking me for it because every week I would just like push it off. Not that I was pushing it off, just I didn't know what to draw, and like just to come up with something like this. Obviously now it comes to me like nothing, but like
instant. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then I was just like, what do I do? I was like, I have no idea. Like,
how did we know that you were an artist? How did that happen?
I don't know. I was always hanging out in Miss Johnson and Miss Jackson's art class. Like, I don't know.
Usually what happens is one of the kids comes to me and says, "Ooh, this person can really draw." And I'm like, "Good, go find them, bring them to me."
Right. Honestly, that's probably what happened. Maybe it was my sister. Maybe it was like anybody else. I mean, I got voted most likely to be an artist, and it came out true. Look at that. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how it happened, like how it came together.
Like
Yeah.
all these things, we don't remember all these things.
Yeah.
So now you're going to tell me, how do you think you've changed since you graduated high school?
Oh my gosh. I've definitely become more confident in my design ability, at least specifically. That's even more of a recent situation. It's taken me a while to like get comfortable with everything, my abilities as a designer or an artist or however you want to call it. I'm always self-critical and self-doubting, but I think more recently I've definitely stepped out of my shell even more, which is great, art-wise and even as myself. I moved into my own apartment last year after COVID. There was a whole situation, and then I moved to Nashville for a minute with an ex, and then that didn't work out, and then I came back, and then I kind of just had to start over, and I feel like I've started over a few times in my life. Which is very expensive. I'm tired of buying couches, man. Now I moved into my own apartment last year, and it's given me an opportunity to, I guess, branch out even further, try new things on my own, just travel on my own, do things on my own, which I don't know. I feel like I'd be more timid if I was like forever ago.
Sometimes we have to go through our knocks.
Yeah, definitely. Lessons learned for sure. I've definitely tried to figure out how to love myself first before I can love anybody else, really, is what it boils down to.
That's a huge lesson. That's hard to learn for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. I'm not there yet either. I'm still trying to figure out what I like and don't like sometimes. So it's
As long as you're on the way.
exactly. I'm on the path for sure.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what would your adult self tell your high school self now to help ease the way?
Like, calm down. Just calm down, man. I know I was so like anxious because I just wanted to get things right, whether it was art or schoolwork. I wasn't the greatest student, but I felt like I was overthinking everything. Anything I did, I was just overthinking it. Calm down and maybe relax on who you like. Like if you have a crush on somebody, just like whatever, don't let it overconsume you. Like I feel like I had a crush like every other week. It was unbelievable.
They'd like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Yeah. So just really just calm down in a lot of aspects. Just relax because it really isn't that serious, and make as many friends as you possibly can. I think that's a key, is a good community, and high school should be about that because you're learning how to talk to people and friends, and you see them every day for 4 years. Like you better try to make friends with them.
Good advice. Now, you talked a little bit about this, but maybe you can go into it a little bit more. What is something that you're grappling with now?
Uh, my mental health, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, I did grapple with that a little bit. Back then I was dealing with it, and now I'm dealing with it in a different way. But like I mentioned before, trying to figure out my likes and dislikes still. I've been trying to figure out all the different hobbies I like. Picking up a camera, that was new. Maybe I'll try like pottery soon. I really want to do some pottery. That'd be fun, or something else completely different. Sometimes I get burnt out doing graphic design all day. It's just I put in my 10,000 hours of like graphic design, and now I'm just like, man, I just want to do something different, or try to like work with my hands, or I don't know, something.
Do something in your sleep, and now it's time to.
Yeah, exactly. And try to figure out what else is out there. That's kind of where I'm at. And then dealing with those past traumas. Oh my gosh, should I have gone to therapy? That's like another thing. Like I should have told my younger self, it's like, go to therapy, like get a therapist, do something. That would have been so helpful, because now I'm dealing with my past. It's like, I didn't want to have to do that, but now it's opening old wounds that.
Right. Are you in therapy now?
I was, and then I left, and now I'm trying to do the self-help situation, which is different, but I don't know. I definitely should probably get another therapist soon. Just
Can't hurt.
No, it can only be good. So
Yeah, especially if you make a good connection with a really good therapist. Just sort of like lay bare your soul and just say, okay, this thing that's in my head that I can't make heads or tails of, go.
yeah,
We figure this out. And Just a good sounding board, if anything.
Yeah. Or at least someone to talk to about if you have someone, or if there's someone that you could talk to in your life, that would have been key. And I have family which I could talk to, but I don't want to put my problems onto them. So definitely a therapist.
Yeah. I'm paying you to help me figure
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So tell me one thing that you miss about your high school self and one thing that's gotten better since high school.
I miss that young Michael was, I think, carefree. So he didn't really have much to worry about, even though he was super anxious. There was like less responsibilities, and it was a slightly easier time to navigate, even though, once again, in retrospect, like it's all we can do is look back and like, that was so easy. Why were you complaining the whole time? But I definitely think once I found the group of friends, basically senior year, where everything was just kind of settled, and I found a group of friends and Thespians came along, and it was just easier to be like carefree, like hang out with friends or do this or do some art or whatever, just to be carefree.
Yeah. And then what has gotten better since you graduated, became an adult?
Money. No.
Money.
Yeah. No. Obviously being a professional comes with a paycheck, a very nice paycheck. So it's so much nicer to be able to do things that I never thought I could do, or I never got to do as a kid, or travel. Like I said, I never got to do that really as a kid. So even to take myself on trips was just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun, which feels like carefree too. And they're not vacations. I can work remote. So I worked in California last year. I was in California. I was upstate New York for a while. Like there's so many different places where I could just work, which is amazing.
The freedom to be able to do that nowadays, I wish I could.
Right.
I'm looking forward to the time when I could sort of up and go. And if I'm going to work, it can be like wherever I want to be in any given time. You guys are so lucky to have those opportunities now that just weren't really there before because the infrastructure wasn't there.
Yeah.
Man, take advantage of it. Maybe you'll find that someone to travel with and do things with. Never know.
Yeah. I have family that I could go on trips with, which I do. Or my cousin's girlfriend, we've gone on a trip together. We went to London last year, and then I think we're planning on going to Iceland this year. So I have people I could go with. But yeah, I know there's sometimes where it's nice to be alone, but I would definitely rather go with people. Like to experience something together is definitely special for sure.
There are times when I'm like, I just want to go by myself.
Right.
Nobody around me.
Yeah. I just want to lay on a beach. Like, don't talk to me. Don't deal with me. I just don't want to.
With the walls around you.
Yeah.
If you could give a piece of sage advice to high school students now, what would that be?
Oh, there's so many things I could say. It's maybe too much. It's kind of like who you want to like, be who you want to be, or try to figure out who you want to be at least. And you're going to be judged forever. At any point in your life, you're going to be judged for how you do something, what you do, whatever the situation. So just as a high schooler, just do it. Literally just do whatever you want to do, whatever you're trying to do, and try not to let other people's opinions of you bog you down, because that definitely affected me when I was a kid, or an adolescent. So I think if I had to give someone sage advice, I would say you're going to be judged at any point in your life. So there's no point in worrying about it or dealing with it. And all your zits and bad haircuts, that'll pass. So don't worry about that. Like that'll go away.
Look at this guy. Look at him.
I know. You want to see a really bad picture of me?
Sure. I don't think it's going to be that, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I was so self-critical. And like I said, zits and bad haircuts will pass, like as you can see. But
gorgeous.
Look at that.
That is not a bad picture. I mean, maybe the hair's a little short, but
it's like the widow's peak, just didn't know what to do. Yeah, I didn't have any role models in that aspect of things. So, yeah, it'll pass. So
listen, we have to turn into swans in our own time.
Right, exactly.
We got to be us at any given point in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael J. Delpup. Okay, we have finally reached our final question for this episode. And that brings us back to where you are right now today. What are 3 self-care practices that you do now to help to center or to regulate yourself?
I work out every day. That definitely has helped because I've always been into working out, after high school, after college. It was kind of something that needed to get done. And when I was living in Brooklyn, I mean, walking a mile to the subway, walking a mile back, walking a mile to work, that's like half the workout there. And then maybe doing another workout later. That was like it. Once we worked remote and had to leave Brooklyn, it was like, I don't know, I got lazy, I guess. It was just that there was less walking involved. Everything was just a lot more relaxed. And sitting at a computer all day, I feel like I need to move. So me and my friends, we actually do like a workout challenge, which is great because that's a great way to boost each other up. And, you get to work out too. So you work out, like, the challenge is like a half hour a day, and you could do whatever workout you want as long as it's a half hour, but you got to make time for it. That's definitely helped for sure. And I feel like I'm in almost one of the best shapes of my life now, which is great.
What's nice is when you are a professional and you have money and you can spend that money on yourself. Not that working out, has to be expensive, but you can take advantage of either classes or gyms
Oh,
or
yeah.
or just time, like just taking the time and the space to do that.
Yeah, I had the means to buy some weights for my apartment just to have here. And then I go for a run around my apartment complex in the mornings. So I did that this morning already. And then, yeah, if I wanted to join a gym that was nearby, I could easily do that. If I need the social to get out of my apartment every now and again would be nice. And then, reading. I hated reading. I'm not a book person, but I started reading like some self-help books in that self-help journey that I've been trying to work on.
Mhm.
So it's like Think Like a Monk and 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. And I just been reading those. And I think that's definitely helped. It's given me a chance to kind of think about my past life through my own eyes and see what someone else's opinion on how to move forward and do all these other things that can help and make a difference. That's definitely helped for sure. Then the last one was probably just try different hobbies, because I think expressing yourself in other ways other than your main, in my sense, it's a main job that I do, even though it's still art photography, but it's just another avenue that can help me be who I want to be, or figure out what else I want to do. And, I'm not the greatest photographer. I took some photography classes in school. I just enjoy, I guess, capturing moments, I guess.
Like you said, we think we're judged, whether it's true or not. We think that we're judged by whoever, comes across our path. But I think the focus is we want to do these because we want to do things. And I had heard, I'm sure it was on a social media thing, that where you're criticizing yourself, somebody else is very inspired by something that you put out. So I choose to let that be the focus of the creative stuff that I do. I think we talk ourselves out of a lot of things from the lens of, oh my God, who's judging me here?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. If we can just go, you know what, maybe something that I'm doing might inspire somebody. So for that person, I'm doing this.
Yeah, and that comes true even with like designing. Like if I hated one of the logos I gave you, like, but I just wanted you to see it and you love that one, it was kind of, it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah, exactly. It's
Right. It brings somebody else great happiness.
Yeah.
You brought me great happiness.
Oh.
No, every time, I mean, I look at these logos now all the time. And, when I am creating the intro or the outro or whatever social media, and I pull that image up and I'm like, that's the face of change for the better.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you like it.
I do. And I look forward to more collaborations in the future because you're a lot of fun to work with.
Oh, yeah, I'm always here to help.
I know, and I appreciate that. Well, Michael J. Delpup, thank you so much. I hope this was a good experience.
Oh yeah, it was definitely cathartic for sure. It was it was great.
We got a little emotional. We got a little
I know, I'm surprised I didn't cry, honestly.
It's okay. It's in our own due time. Like I said, I really do appreciate your everything that you've done in the last month or so, and finally coming on and sharing your story on the podcast. I'm very grateful.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. And everything that you did for me in the past also, whether it was opportunities or lessons learned, for sure.
Yay. That's what we do. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Change for the Better, the Power of Arts in Education. Tune in next week for episode 48. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the glare is good. I feel like maybe it's not too much.
Is there like a window that, because it's on your glasses a little bit.
I could take my glasses off, I guess.
Is it a window that's like,
It is. It's yeah.
can you shade it a little bit, or is it already?
I could shade it more. Yeah.
Oh, look at fame.
Oh my gosh, no, no. Not yet. Not yet.
I'll pretend I never saw
Oh
it.
no, oh my gosh. I forgot I had that. It was supposed to be a surprise. Oh my God.
Oh, but it was such a nice surprise. Such a good surprise. Okay, I'll pretend that I didn't see that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, go show.
Okay.
Do your little show and tell.
Look how cute this is. Oh my gosh. This thing is so big. It looks so chewy. I know this. I should have came in wearing this stuff. It just would have been clutch.
Beanie-fied. Seriously, that's the best.
So good. Oh, I love it.
And you got the good hair now, so.
I know. I usually wear a hat. This is like my go-to. It's just easier. But
Sure. That works out.
Yeah.
I love it when they find the beanie stuff.
oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, how fortuitous, like to find this book and this beanie and this shirt literally the 2 days ago. I was like, that's unbelievable. Yeah.
Memories.
Yeah, love it.